Jones Podcast. 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 Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Jones Podcast. The Jones Podcast is a podcast that acknowledges great individuals from my city of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and worldwide. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the Jones Podcast. What's going on, Jones Podcast family? With me today, I have my man, Mitchel Howell. Unfortunately, we are meeting on circumstances that I would rather not have been meeting him on. He is infected with the coronavirus, but I've talked to him a lot. He's in good spirit. So, Mitchel, how are you doing, sir?
I am doing good. Finally on the upswing of all of this crap. Been a rough 10 days, but finally looking on the other side.
How is your quarantine going?
I am going stir crazy now.
Okay.
The first 6-7 days weren't too bad because we were down feeling like crap with all this, and now that I'm up on the up mend, I'm a very extroverted person, so staring at these walls, man, gets old fast.
Do you have any idea where you got the coronavirus from?
So I work in retail. I'm at a grocery store at that, so I'm assuming that's probably where I got exposed to it.
So you think a lot of people in retail are getting exposed to the coronavirus?
Oh, yeah. I mean, especially, it seems like it's settling down a little bit now, but with the shop apocalypse upon us, I mean, I was interacting with hundreds of people, and I'm in a small town in Alaska. I can't imagine how many people the big cities are interacting with.
Yeah. What symptoms did you have before you went to the doctor?
Yeah, so originally it kind of started out a little short of breath. My chest was a little tight. Didn't think too much of it. Being a fat guy running around the store and not sleeping much, figured I was just tired. And then the next day I woke up with the sore throat, lungs were on fire, the cough kind of set in, and that's when I decided to call the nurse's hotline, and they told me to go in.
Automatically they told you to go in?
Yeah.
With your experience, if anyone is having shortness of breath and a fever and they need to go in or call a hotline.
Call your nurse's hotline or call your local emergency room, kind of whatever. When my son started showing symptoms, they had the whole process streamlined for him. He was tested and out in about 10 minutes. I didn't actually get a test because they were short in the state on test. But for him, they came out, did the test right at the car. My wife talked to the doctor on a little tablet computer. So it was a pretty streamlined process, but just call and let them know you're coming so they can be ready for you.
What was your diagnosis again?
I was suspected confirmed. They did chest x-rays and a flu test, and all of that came back negative. So they said I was suspected confirmed because we only had about 70 tests in the state of Alaska at the time. I was not a high-risk category.
Wow, at the entire state, it was only 70 tests?
Yeah, it was this last week before they could really start ramping up testing up here. And a lot of the hospitals have bought private tests from private companies over the government issue test.
Did you get a flu shot this year?
I did get my flu shot. I get it every year.
So are the symptoms like the flu?
Oh, yeah, no, the symptoms are, I call it a flu on steroids. It was a lot of like really heavy breathing, a lot of feeling like my chest was really tight, almost kind of like walking pneumonia. But my body hurt. I felt like I got beat with a shovel, but I did not get the nausea. That was the one thing. I know with the flu, a lot of times you're throwing up a lot. I never got nausea. It was all up in my respiratory.
So it's basically, you would know if you have it because it's something that you haven't had before. It's totally, the symptoms are the same but extreme, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you feel the difference. It's you know it's not just the regular flu.
So are you a smoker?
I vape. I don't smoke. I
Okay.
vape.
Do you think vapors or smokers are susceptible to getting it quicker than
Oh,
regular
oh
people?
yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, even as a vape person, I know it's healthier than smoking, but you're still putting smoke into your lungs. It's still taxing on your lungs. I don't know the official studies on it, but you're still putting chemicals in your lungs. So I believe it does make you more susceptible just for the fact that your lungs are going to be a little bit weaker than probably somebody that exercises 10 times a day and doesn't smoke at all.
How do you feel about social distancing?
I think it's I think it's a practice we need to be a little more aware of in general. Like maybe we don't need to go to the 6 foot extreme rules,
Hmm.
but I think just in general, I'm going to be a little more cautious of how close I'm getting to people and kind of making sure that I take reasonable precautions.
Before it happened, everybody was basically we were a touchy feely society.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very much a high five, give somebody a hug,
Yeah, yeah.
whisper something to them. Like I never, and honestly, even when it first started happening, I probably didn't take it as serious as I should have.
Hmm.
I'm like, I'm in Alaska. Like, what's the chances this could be here first? And yeah, no, karma came back and bit me on that one.
When they gave you your diagnosis, what really went through your mind at that moment?
Honestly, I was pissed.
Okay.
I mean, I was more. I wasn't too scared as I've been doing a lot of reading on it, not just the scary headlines, but trying to read stuff by the CDC, talking to different people in the medical field. I know I wasn't too scared. I was more just like pissed that I didn't take it as serious, and I more or less kind of exposed myself because I wanted to be a social butterfly. When my kids started getting sick, then it kind of really scared and pissed me off because I'm like, well, I'm the one that brought this into our house more
Yeah.
likely, so it's kind of a feeling of pissed and guilt.
And how's your son doing?
He's doing really good now. He was down for about 2.5, 3 days. They gave him the little breathing nebulizer breathing treatment thing they do at home.
Hmm.
He's bounced back pretty quick. He's a good, active, healthy boy, so he's bounced back pretty quick.
Was he diagnosed with the coronavirus also?
We are officially waiting on his test results either today or tomorrow. We should have those in. He
Okay.
actually got tested.
Did he have the symptoms like you had?
Yeah, and the symptoms hit fast too. Like the flu, sometimes you can kind of feel it coming and building up.
Yeah.
No, mine was like day one felt the tightness of the chest and stuff. Day two was just like, bam, here's a shovel to the face. Deal with it.
Oh, so it's rapid like that. Okay.
Yeah, and that's why I said like I knew it just wasn't the flu because if I do get sick with the flu, like it kind of builds 2-3 days, start getting slugged down and feeling crappy. But no, this just hit from like, oh, this is annoying to now you're gonna die.
Well, to everyone who was listening, what advice would you give them about being, let's say, careful in the social distancing and taking this virus seriously?
Yeah, it's a topic I actually really enjoy talking about because I was one of those people that, like I said, I didn't take it serious. It's this is being blown up in the news and blah blah blah. But no, it's a real thing. Suck it up. Just get through the quarantine. The quicker we can flatten the curve, quote unquote, as they call it, then the quicker things will go back to normal. I trust me, I'm out 2 jobs right now. I know the financial burden of it. So just kind of suck it up, deal with it, just get it done and over with, and wash your hands and keep a little, when this is over, kind of keep that 3 foot rule from people. Kind of stand back. You can chat with people without being up in their face.
So when you went to the doctor, what medicine did they give you for it, or is there any medication for that?
So they gave me a strong inhaler,
Uh huh.
one of the steroidal inhalers to open up my lungs. But they said besides that, unless it became like a critical condition, all they can do is kind of monitor you, give you support with the inhaler for the breathing.
Do you ever think they'll come up with some medicine for it or anything?
Yeah, everybody, a few people that I've talked to in the medical field are, because they're saying being a coronavirus, kind of like the flu and the cold, they don't think it's just gonna go away. They don't know how it's gonna come back, if it's gonna be like a seasonal thing or something. But I'm excited to see. Hopefully, they get some types of vaccination for it, because we do have family in Europe, and it is taking a devastating toll in Europe, and I don't want to see that happen here.
You have family in Europe, so what exactly is going on over there?
Europe, especially, we have family in Germany. They're doing safe. Their lockdowns are a lot more stringent than ours. But like Europe, they had 900 deaths just today.
Today?
So, yeah, the
Wow.
yesterday, between last night and today, the count jumped 900, because for the older people and immune compromised, this is tearing their lungs up so bad that their body just can't handle it, because it's a new virus. We don't have the antibodies already in our body to fight it off. And even being a healthy dude, besides maybe being a little fat, I mean, I felt there was, when I was down at full strength with it, it was hard to breathe. So I could see, if somebody's already sick, how it can take a devastating toll on them. We keep a very close eye on kind of what's going on over there in Europe. My mother-in-law's from Germany, so we're always talking with her, making sure everything's good. But it's funny, because not to get political on it, it's kind of two different attitudes though. Europe's kind of like, okay, this is kicking our ass, let's all come together and do what we have to do. Where over here, we kind of have that sense that we're invincible. It ain't gonna hurt us.
Yeah, we do.
Individually and as a country, and I have a feeling it's gonna get uglier before it gets better.
Yeah, I have that same feeling also, and that's scary, very scary. Well, Mitchell, you have a podcast also, right?
Actually, I have two of them now.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So go ahead and promote your podcast.
Yeah, thank you. So my first podcast, my main one, is called The 49th Meal. It's all about Alaskan-made food and beverages. And right now I'm pushing episodes out as quick as I can record them, just to help our small businesses here in Alaska. So everything's shut down. It's devastating a lot of them. And then through this quarantine, I needed a stress relief. So I started a second podcast called Cluster without the U. And I'm kind of talking about any and all topics. The first episode is out there. It's an interview with the Dr. Nurse F show. They are a doctor and nurse team somewhere in the country. They're very protective of their identities. But they kind of talk about the behind the scenes from the medical side of this whole coronavirus. And then tonight I'm going to be publishing the second episode talking about servers that are selling feet pictures.
Feet pictures.
So it's, like, all these servers are laid off. They're looking for that money.
Mm-hmm.
And they're starting to sell feet pictures. And so I just kind of dove into it. And I started doing it just kind of as a stress relief, and went down the rabbit hole with it.
I'm happy you're doing better.
Thank you. I hope you and your family stay safe, and hope all your listeners stay safe too. And remember, wash those hands, stay away from people.
Yes, sir. You have a great afternoon, brother.
You too. Thank you.